So what you're saying is you don't think, and I'm gonna prove this to you. You don't think that men are emotional, just as emotional as women.
I don't think we react on emotion like women react on emotion.
We it's either suppressed or it's either
it just looks different.
So what the normal emotion that is acceptable for men to express is anger.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna prove to you. We were just at the bar yesterday, right? Watching the Eagles. You know what I'm saying? 9-1, go Birds. So we were shameless plug, but we were just there watching the game, and there was 90% of the people at the bar were men. You Eagles fan, Chiefs fan, and dog. When they were making mistakes, we weren't like, oh gosh darn it, you know, he made a mistake. Yo, I'm like, get him out of here, bro. You know what I'm saying? And like when we scored, I'm amped. We were singing a song, we were chanting. So yeah, it's normal to like that's emotion, bro. That's an emotional response to something that either pissed me off or something that I'm accepting. So we are emotional. Like we always have this thing, like yeah, women are more emotional and I'm more logical. Like bro, that's crap.
Yeah, absolute crap.
Now what I'm saying to you is, should we lead with emotion? No.
And you're saying men lead with emotion too?
No, they're sometimes. What I'm saying is,
I don't see it.
What I'm saying
I'm
is,
listening.
We should. There should be like emotion should not be suppressed. It should be properly evaluated. Now, I'm not making a decision based off emotion because that can come back. My emotions can change the next moment. It should be my decision making should be based on logic.
And you're saying that men don't do that. Like we don't deal, generally speaking.
That we don't what?
We don't act on logic. We're not more, we don't.
Well, I will say this. There's a lot of times that we don't. We think it's logic, but it's based on like.
Emotion still?
Yeah.
Really?
Because it could be, I'm making a decision off ego.
Yep. You can never make a decision and not have your feelings involved.
Right. But I think it should be logical, meaning I make it a practice.
It can't be free of emotion because how can you separate yourself from emotion?
I don't think
you can't.
I just think it's logical. For example, if
so you saying logical is meaning like you're just taking time to think about it and weigh everything out. Is that what you mean by logical?
Yeah, you have to think it through. It can't be just because I feel like this,
impulsive.
I'm going to act like
that. That's
Agreed.
Impulsive.
It has to be, I'm going to do this.
Well thought out.
There's still some emotion in your logical decision.
I'm not saying that we don't deal with emotion at all. I'm saying we're not going to act on that emotion as quickly as a woman would. And I know I'm going to get beat up for that, but whatever. That's what
I think that's true. But I think
you get into an argument with your wife, your girlfriend, or whatever. She is more than likely the one up and down, and you're like, dang, I don't even know I'm in trouble yet. Like, why are we arguing real quick?
The normal thing that we do, how we respond emotionally, is acceptable is anger. But then, this can be a segue. It can be like anger. Anger is a secondary emotion. You feel something, then you become angry. But we skip over what we initially felt. Like I felt disrespected. I felt alone. I felt beat up. I felt abused. I felt scared. Then I became angry. But we don't talk about that primary emotion. We just skip over and go to anger.
So talk to me.
You understand what I'm saying? And so, like, as it relates to mental health, I think the biggest thing is that we have, like, all of us were born into dysfunction, right? All of our families have dysfunction. I don't care how perfect you think your parents were. They weren't, like, because they were born to imperfect people. You understand what I'm saying? So all of that kind of stuff has impacted us. But now there's a rise of talking about mental health, with going to therapy. And I think, and this is funny, I was just having a conversation with somebody about this the other day. The stigma of talking about it has changed tremendously. Like everybody talking about it. You got podcasts, there's people talking about this, you know what I'm saying?
They give everybody a mic.
They give everybody a mic. And so half the time they'd be trash. But anyway, so so that piece is we're making headway, I should say. But it's the actual going to therapy that's the big part.
So we don't really go. We talk about it.
They got a bad stigma, man, just because we don't know much about it.
it's cool to talk about, but to actually go and deal with my problems. Oh no, I'm gonna just talk to my dog about it. Nah, because y'all just
not good enough.
No, y'all just dumping trauma on each other.
That's all. With no healthy solution, you're not fixing the actual issue.
You're seeing your problems now. Well, let me say, you're seeing your problems through the lens of your trauma response, right? Now, there are some elements of like, if I come to you or, for advice, that's different. But if I'm trying to get soul work done or inner work done, dog, you need to go see somebody that's trained to do that. Mm-hmm. And so the stigma of it is we've made headway, but my head's not in the sand either to think that we've arrived, because we have not.
So let's talk about that. What do black men do typically instead of going to therapy? What's the common thing that we do?
I'll tell you, it's usually found in
the bottom of a bottle.
It's found in some coping skill, coping mechanism.
What are these coping mechanisms?
Unhealthy so it can be sex or overconsumption of sex.
I ain't thinking out.
Alcohol, drugs, video games, isolation, partying. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's so many, there's nothing wrong with any of those things that I said.
But when you use it as a coping mechanism. When
it's used in a negative or unhealthy coping skill, then that's when it becomes, because you got to think about it. All of us have some to some degree, some unhealthy coping skill. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. You have some vice or something that you fall back on to provide some element of comfort.
So help me out with this. Let's say I'm a black man.
Sure.
How can I? Because I don't think I would know. Like you said video games. I like video games. You said sex. I like sex.
Yeah.
You said I like all these things.
Yeah.
How do I know that I'm using this habit or this hobby as a coping mechanism for my trauma?
Self-soothing to suppress your emotions.
So if I'm mad or something and I go straight there?
If it takes the place of you actually dealing with it.
Oh,
you get what I'm saying? So if like I play video games, I be whooping him in Madden.
Oh, that's a lie.
Anyway,
wow. Wow.
Like,
we lying on here too? I thought we said the truth.
Hey, listen, man. If that's your truth, that's your truth. That's what everybody say now. But no, I'll play video games. I'll go to the bar. Like, you know what I'm saying? Of course, I love sex. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, if it can't be to the point where I'm overusing that to cope with or mask what I'm truly dealing with.
Dang.
And I think we do that to some degree. We do that as men because it's not acceptable to say, like, man, I'm sad. Like, that really hurt my feelings. What, bro? You a punk, bro? You saying stuff like we can't say that.
Yeah.
We don't have that space to say that.
You don't.
Watch this. We don't have a space to say that in the element of how we, going back to traditionalism, like as a man, we're taught to lead, to protect, provide, and what's the other one? Protect, provide, and I'm missing one. It's another P. Whatever.
Some other ego thing.
Yeah, whatever.
There you go, Coach. There you go.
But so the thing is like the ability to lead a family sometimes doesn't give you that space to feel. Man, I ain't got time to sit here and waddle about bills. I got to go to work. I got to pay. I got to bring this bacon to the crib.
Yeah.
So that's where I think therapy gives you that outlet, because you don't have to be strong all the time. And that's something I struggle with, bro. As it relates to like.
So say that again. You sure?
Yeah, like
you don't got to be strong all the time.
You don't have to be strong all the time, bro.
You sure?
Yeah, positive. Man. You don't, because at the end of the day, like for example, God gave me a wife. She's a helpmate. She's there to do what? To help me. You see what I'm saying? And so like sometimes I gotta rely on her emotionally. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes.
And what does that look like? Just talking to her, or
like they're saying,
being
like
honest,
like babe, I had this was crazy. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this, or I'm afraid.
And here's the fear.
That's hard, bro.
That is hard. Here's the fear. When you do that, don't shoot the messenger. When you do that, right? Maybe I have some work to do, because I know. I do think women are quicker to deal with or lead off of emotion. So when I'm going through something, let's say, I had I got an argument with my boss at work. I go home, man, I got into an argument with my boss, man. We call each other names, this, that, and that. I don't know if you're going to, keep me employed. I may not be as worried because I know I'm going to whatever. I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna do what I got to do. But she may be like, oh my God, he's gonna get fired. We're not gonna be able to pay the bills.
Yeah.
So you have that in your mind. So you're fearful of just letting her know, or being able to communicate with that in that space, because you're like, well, if I tell her, then I'm gonna worry her, and this, that, and the third.
But by doing that, you creating a space for y'all to be vulnerable with each other. Mm-hmm. So when you deprive her of that, you rob her.
I like how you said that. When you deprive her of that.
When
you deprive her of that, like you rob her.
Coach about to go in real quick.
I'm with you.
So you rob her of being able to enter that experience with you. So it's just you and your headspace. Now there's some things that I keep between me and my thoughts. You know what I'm saying? You gotta learn how to discern that. But for the most part, you have to invite her into that space. Why? Because what that does, that creates that more of an intimacy. Like my husband just told me, or my dude just told me that he's afraid. That's intimacy, bro. And the more vulnerable you get with a woman, bro, your sex life is gonna be A1. That's just that. Even though she may be worried, but then the flip side to that is she might be thinking about he didn't have to share that with me.
Women, I don't agree with you. Women, wait, before y'all beat me up. Women don't give you that opportunity to be vulnerable with them. They don't give you that space. Not my wife, not your wife, but in general, I think. That's because you wait. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Women, if you, damn babe, I'm scared. Damn babe, I'm broke. Damn babe, they're looking at you like, what? You're supposed to be. Society, they deal with the society norms too. You're supposed to be the protector, provider, and whatever the other P is.
and that's bothering me, bro.
They'll come up. You're supposed to be that. So they're looking at you like, what? They may not say nothing in that moment, but I think, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I have some work to do within me. But I think they see you as less of a man. Or you tripping. Let me go find somebody else that got it together.
That's that city girl mindset. And so that's that.
City girls going worldwide, man. They all over.
That's that independent single woman mindset, because.
So we got to talk to the women right now then.
Yeah. So I think the real. Oh, priest. There it is, bro. Priest, protector, provider. There it is. And that just simply means you're leading, as God had ordained you to.
That's another conversation.
Yeah, that's another conversation. We don't open that one up.
They don't want us to be leaders either, because everybody can do everything for themselves, and you don't want to follow me, and
that's a whole other conversation. And it's not domineering, but it's reciprocal relationships. Meaning I can't be me without you. I can't lead by who am I leading? Of course yourself, but we have to create that space, man. You got to be able to find a woman that allows that to be. Cause I'm guaranteed God forbid, if I was single, bro, and I don't know what I would do, bro, because the mindset that I hear a lot of women have, it creates that barrier between men and women as it relates to
I definitely,
being emotional. And
I don't think women allow men to be vulnerable like that. I don't think they allow that space. That's just me personally.
Is it fair to say that having that fair chance to be vulnerable, it just helps relationships go to another level?
Yeah, bro. It's intimacy.
I'm with it. I just don't think the way it sounds good. It sounds great. I just don't think in actuality women give men the chance to do that as well. I think we grew up thinking that way. Women grew up thinking the same way.
So you feel suppressed in a way that you can't express yourself to a woman because you're not sure how she's going to perceive you.
I don't want to say me in particular, but I think men in general.
The men, yes.
I definitely think a lot of men are like, I can't share this with her. She's going to see me as less of a man.
But guess
what? I can't share this with her. She's not going to respect me as much. And men, we need our respect.
But I'm going to give you a point to that. That's selfish. From the male's perspective.
Because you're robbing her.
You're like depriving her of that.
I agree, and I love that.
So go ahead. Okay, so I wanna take that same concept of not being able to be vulnerable, and then depriving that person, that opportunity to get to that space. Can you apply this same concept to a child?
Oh Lord, I knew he was going to do that.
I knew he was going there.
Yeah, because it's a relationship. Whether it's with a romantic relationship with your wife, if there's a relationship between you and your son, your daughter, even you could say a brother, siblings. They're all relationships. If you don't have that chance to be vulnerable, then you're depriving that individual a chance to express themselves, to communicate, to find a healthy medium and work together.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I think there has to be a balance. You can give children that space to be vulnerable and expressive, but I think the danger in that is when there's no boundary set, and then kids think it's cool to be disrespectful.
You gotta teach them.
You gotta teach them those boundaries.
That's a misunderstanding with gentle parenting. That's not how that is.
I gotta get you that book, bro, Active Parenting, so you can check it out, see what you think. That's solid.
Get it to me.
Yeah, let's do that.
I'm all about learning and growing, man. I mean, there's no perfect solution to everything, but I'm always willing to learn and to try.
Yeah. I got you. I feel you, bro. I feel you, bro.
That's cool.
I'm still tapping them on the bottom though, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
I want to spend a little bit of time talking to the women. Actually, I had started a question earlier about like, what would you say to a woman who is a single parent? Just, going back to the gentle parenting, going back to the balance. Just what would you say to a woman? Because what I was trying to say was, I think it's, it's hard for a single woman to do both, to be, to have that balance. So just what would you say to a woman who is raising her child, especially a young boy, on her own? Because, you know what I mean, as a young boy. So what would you say to a single parent, a single mom?
I can't say the best, but I'd say something that's very important that she needs to do is learn about herself.
Ooh, okay.
The more she knows about herself, the more she can accommodate herself. If she can know how to regulate her own emotions, not be impulsive, she can actually sit down and think and evaluate the best plan of action moving forward in any situation. Educate yourself, right? Learn what your passions are, what your skills are, so that you can actually provide, because you are in a position of providing now. You're the only one.
Yeah.
All right. So if you can do those basic things, I think you're putting yourself you're giving yourself a better chance to raise a healthier child.
That's solid. I think I'm gonna say something very controversial.
Oh, here you go.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it. I debate it, but I'm gonna say it.
Come on with it.
I think it is very difficult. I mean, I'm trying to make this politically correct. Let me just stop.
Yeah, adding sugar to the Coke. Come on.
Right. Sugar.
Women cannot teach a boy how to be a man.
Yeah, you're right. That was controversial. You was right about that.
and I'm gonna say that. And so my advice would be, because you're not a man, you have to get him. Like, I'm not saying get any kind of piece of man, as old folks say. Get a piece of man. No, you need to find like healthy avenues or groups or mentorship where that your son can see what it looks like to be a man. Now, when I say that, I'm going to explain why. Because there's two primary ways in how you teach people. You teach people in what we call precepts and then practice. Precepts is the learning of things through rules and regulation. This is what you do. This is what you don't do. This is how you do this. This is how you not do this. That's precepts. Practice is learned through modeling and example setting. Women can teach boys how to be a man in precepts. Son, this is what you do as a man. But she can't teach a boy how to be a man in practice because she's not a man. So he can learn that, but if he doesn't see it, then he's only getting that one-sided perspective. And so that's why that's controversial, but I'm up for debate with that. But I just explained the two ways in how people learn. He can't learn unless he sees it. And if he doesn't see it, then he's left to his own device to be able to figure out. And then that's when the subculture of hip hop comes in. Hip hop teaches boys how to get a woman, how to dress, how to talk. So hip hop has become the stepfather because who they listen to? Rod Wave, they listen to all these people, and they're teaching them how to live. You understand what I'm saying? And so that's why I say you need to get in have a mentor. Take that boy to church. Let him meet. Have somebody that he can model after, so he can look up after. Now, I'm not saying that single women, because they're single. There has been some of the greatest men that I look up to have been raised by single women. That's not negate. I'm not negating single parenthood one bit. Like that's tough. But what I'm saying is that there are some things that you don't have to deal with, or you can't. You can't because you're not a man, and you got to get a man in that boy's life to be able to teach him those things. And I'm not talking about how to change a tire. I'm talking about how to deal with conflict, how to manage your anger, how to manage your frustration, how to make decisions sound. These are things that you only can learn through the pressure of being a man. Any gynecologist will tell you a woman's body is not built to take the pressure like a man's body is.
How can somebody say something counter that? Coach look like he about to.
In what context
really
is that?
What I'm saying,
the context does matter, though.
The context of that is,
you went science with it, biology.
What I'm saying is,
biology.
Physiologically, you're like a woman's body, because emotional responses to stress, emotional responses to worry, their bodies is not now. Both bodies are not designed to take too much. Well, what I'm saying is the pressures of life, the way that God designed our bodies, men are built to handle more. Not saying that women can't handle it, but their bodies begin to have different responses if they take on the same pressures as a man would.
Can you imagine men having the pressure of giving birth? Our bodies can't take that. If they can take that pressure, bro, ain't nothing worse than that in this universe. So I ain't hearing none of that.
There's a difference in pain tolerance as it relates to giving birth versus how your body responds to stress, how your body responds to unforgiveness, how your body responds to bitterness. You understand what I'm saying? There's different physiological responses. Like God designed.
I'd like to know those.
God designed a woman's body to be able to give birth. He didn't design we can't give birth as a man. Why? Because our body, our DNA makeup is not built that way. Is what I'm saying. You follow what I'm saying? And so I think and it's not to say that women are lesser class, because they're not. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's just different how God designed our bodies and what we can and cannot do. Yeah.
So as far as like raising a child, there's gaps in both male and female as far as being able to relate.
Yeah.
I can't tell my niece how to deal with dating from a woman's perspective, dealing with periods. I can't do that. And a woman can't tell their son how to deal with dating from a male's perspective, right, dealing with certain things like that. So in that sense, I can see how, there are gaps and they need another figure to help bridge that gap. But the other aspects of it, as far as like emotional intelligence, I think both mom and dad are capable of doing exactly that.
Let me tell you what the pushback is going to be in today's society, especially when you say stuff like you need to get a man in that boy's life. That's when they're going to be like,
I don't care. I really don't care. I really don't care because I have science. I got statistics to back up what I'm saying.
I love it.
It doesn't matter. So, and this is funny. So on both sides, liberals and conservatives, there's very rare when they can come to a complete consensus about something. And what they both agreed on, which is nothing, they never can agree on anything, right? But what they agreed on is the nuclear family, that the benefits of having a man and a woman to raise a child. They're less likely to get involved in
liberals
certain things.
Believe that too.
Yeah, bro. Classical liberals. Let me say it that way. Okay. So they did a study, and they saying that there's more of a benefit to having both than it is like the child becomes is healthier, I should say, when it's done the correct way. If you have
said the correct way.
The correct way.
You want all the smoke. You want all the smoke. Bro. The correct way.
So, and I think is if you think that I'm just making stuff up, just Google it. Hey, like Shaq said, Google me, Chuck. Google me. You Google that and then find the stats and show me that what I said was a lie.
You know what I'd like to add with those stats and data, right? There's been a while where women weren't allowed to even speak. So a lot of the data that led up to today's conclusions or best ideas, a lot of the women they're missing a lot of information because they they were not even on the stat sheet because they weren't allowed to do certain things. They weren't allowed to vote. They weren't allowed. They can't. Certain religions, you can't even speak. You can't wear certain things. So I would love to see that data and see exactly.
The data is not from the 60s. This is from like the 2000s, mid 2000s, and like now. Of course, you can't take just one specific data. It's aggregate data where you got to be able to. You can't pull one study and be like, look, see, I'm right. No, it has to be consistency with multiple studies about that.
What I'm saying is it's impossible to reach an exact state of consistency where when we all started off from different points, I can go back and say, you look at the data, look at minorities, right?
Yeah.
We don't have much property, not as much as the people who run this country. Guess why? It ain't that we lazy. Let's go back to the beginning and how we first started here. The systematic stuff. It matters. That stuff matters into the data. That's the point I'm trying to make with when you comparing data with men and women to say they're more emotional or whatever else. You're not looking at the stuff in the past that kind of molded them and shaped them to what they are now.
I agree with you.
And us as well.
I agree with that.
So you can't skip that part. You have to add that part into the data.
I agree. I definitely agree. But yeah, I definitely agree. But I stand firm on that, bro. Like I stand firm on that, and you can say it's from a biased perspective, but I've seen it work. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, bro. On both sides, they say the same thing. Obama said the same thing. They say he's saying the same thing that extremely liberal, right?
As they come.
He's saying the same thing that conservatives are saying, and that's the only piece that they really agree on is the benefits of having a nuclear family. That's all.
You got to define nuclear one more time.
Nuclear mean biological male, biological female.
I agree. I like that.
With the biological male, biological female?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I mean, it don't have to be that way. You can still have a perfectly functional thing with two women and two males. I mean, it don't even have to be in a position of being a romantic relationship. You could have a mom and you could have an uncle and still create the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because that boy has somebody to model after.
So I would say it all goes down to resources. I have these resources of a male, a female, whatever figure. It's
I love it.
It's a village.
I love it. I just can't wait to hear the feedback. They gonna rip.
They're gonna rip me apart, huh?
Yeah, they gonna rip you apart. I'm glad it's you and not me this time.
I don't care, bro.